I don't get these consoles. I bought a Switch 2 along with having a PS5, Xbox Series X. They're all supposed to be backwards compatible, but I still can't play the last story on them. I just don't get it. Hey everyone, how's it going? Total Level here, and today I want to talk about 7 JRPGs on Generation 7 consoles that I wish would have modern ports, whether these be remasters or remakes entirely, as Generation 7 was an interesting time for these JRPGs, as during the Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii, this was a time where we were seeing a lot more shooters take center stage, online gaming, along with Western RPGs really taking a big step forward and were very popular during this time, right? So JRPGs were kind of hard to come by here and there, so Generation 7 is often cited as both the worst generation for JRPGs along with the most underrated JRPGs out there, and there's a lot of great ones. We're starting to get a few here and there that have gone remasters, whether it's a digital only version or some physical, like we got with Ni no Kuni, or stuff like Star Ocean, The Last Hope having a digital remaster for PS4, PS5, along with PC, right? So just want to kind of talk about ones that still haven't made the jump to modern consoles, and these are ones that I have played and beaten before, so there's going to be a lot of great ones missing from here, stuff like Opono, Magna Carta 2, things like that, just because I haven't either played through them yet, or I just don't even have them yet. So yeah, I want to focus on ones I have played and beaten before. Also not going to talk about first party ones like, say, Fire Emblem, Radiant Dawn. I think that's another list for another time about the first party games, and not going to talk about Tales of games because it's eventual that we're going to get remasters of Exilia 1 and 2 anyway, so don't feel the need to really talk about them. But yeah, we got still 7 really great ones that haven't had modern ports yet. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit because one of these does have a PC port, and some of these games are backwards compatible with the Xbox Series and Xbox One consoles, but because they don't have a true remaster or remake on those ones, I'm still going to include them, just so you know. But yeah, let's look at my 7 JRPGs from Generation 7 consoles that I wish would have modern releases. I really hope you enjoy. So the first game I have here isn't actually the greatest game. It's a solid 7 out of 10 type game, but I think it'd still be cool to have a modern release just for people to check out, especially because it's a From Software game, and that's Enchanted Arms. Not the greatest game, like I said, as story-wise it's pretty basic, but it has a fun combat system and it's carried by humorous dialogue. Like, there's a lot of great humor in this game, there's a lot of fun characters and some cool cutscenes, right? So it's an interesting one that I think would be fun to have at least a remaster of, because this one's been forgotten over time. It was like an early 360 title before eventually getting a port to PS3, but it's been long forgotten, so I think it'd be cool to just add it to kind of the modern library of JRPGs out there. And then the next one I have is a trilogy of games, so really cheating with this one. And yeah, like I said, these have PC releases, and it's a game I bought 3 times over, so total of 9 times, because like I said, it's a trilogy, and it's Final Fantasy 13 here. So yeah, I have old copies on the PS3, 360, and PC, but I think Final Fantasy 13 is super underrated. I always said that if this series was not attached to Final Fantasy, I'd wonder how much more it would have done, like how much better it would have done, how much more the public might have accepted this game if it wasn't Final Fantasy 13, if it was just its own IP, right? Because they are pretty fun games, as the second one's my favorite because you got to actually explore and talk to people. With 13, it was a lot of running away from everyone, right? Because you're labeled as a lessee and people don't like lessees, so try to complete your focus there. But the second one, playing as Lightning's sister Sarah, and it was a very cool experience. Lightning Returns wasn't my favorite, but I'm not a big fan of time limits. Even though it wasn't bad in that game, you can use chronostasis to stop the time temporarily, but still not the biggest fan. I thought the story was kind of weird, but it wasn't a bad game by any means, and I know a lot of people love it. Just one I kind of want to revisit too, and I think a remaster on modern platforms, it would give me a great excuse to revisit these games too, because again, I thought they were a lot of fun. I thought the combat system in all three games were excellent. They were a ton of fun, and yeah, just be cool to see Final Fantasy 13 finally be on modern platforms, and also get a bit of that PC release, because on PC for 13 you got an easy mode, so if people found it a bit too difficult for the first game, at least there's an easy mode there, and I think that'd be cool to have for just people on, modern consoles to play. And then another game that I bought twice, but a lot of this was because one, I really liked it, and two, the PS3 version had extra content, and that's Eternal Sonata here, so really love this game. It is an awesome experience, very unique battle system of this sort of turn-based action hybrid, because you have a few seconds to do your turns, and you have these light and dark powers you get to use depending if you're in the light or in the shadows, and a very unique story about Frederick Chopin and his deathbed, and you're playing kind of his dream sequence, right? And it's a beautiful game. It's a game that I wish would get ported to modern consoles, remaster. It doesn't need a remake, but a remaster would be awesome, because yeah, I want more people to check this game out. I think it'd be cool to also do more games in this style. Like, you can't exactly make a sequel on Eternal Sonata, but you could do things with other musicians out there, right? And I think that'd be really neat, and just, it's a game that is long overdue for some sort of remaster to get more people into knowing what Eternal Sonata is all about. And the next game I have on this list was a PS3 launch title, I believe, and that's Folklore. Really cool, really beautiful game if you love just fantasy and kind of almost not super horror fantasy, but a bit of that creepiness and fantasy and everything. Man, this game is so cool. You have two different characters that you're playing side by side with, and it's just a very cool, beautiful experience, and it's a shame that it's stuck on the PS3. It's a shame that there's no remaster, even just porting it to PS3, PS4, PS5, sorry, and it's a shame it's just stuck here, because it's a game that is completely overlooked, something that not a whole lot of people know about, not a whole lot of people got to play unless you had a PS3, right? And yeah, I love this game so much, and I hope one day it does get a modern release, because it deserves a remaster. And to end all this off, we have 3 Mistwalker games in a row, so buckle down as we start with Blue Dragon here. So, love these Mistwalker games, and Blue Dragon was a really cool one, though not my favorite, because it couldn't quite decide what I wanted to be, I found. Just overall, because the other two games were on the DS, and each time they switched genres completely. This is a conditional turn-based combat system for the 360 one. The other two were a tactical RPG, real-time kind of strategy one, and along with an action RPG one. But for this one, yeah, completely turn-based and really cool game. You're trying to stop this evil Nene as you gain this shadow power, because Shu and his friends Jiro, Kluk are trying to stop this land shark. They fail, and that's when they get into this airship where they meet Nene. But in that sequence, they get these shadow powers where Shu has the blue dragon, and Kluk has the Phoenix, Jiro has the Minotaur, and so you're using all these powers to save the world, meet other people to stop Nene and his evil schemes. Fun game. Again, not my favorite, but it's a still solid experience, and these Mistwalker games are a ton of fun. And while you can play this on the Xbox One or Series consoles, it'd be great to get a proper remaster of this game for every platform. And then we move on to the best Mistwalker game out there, and probably the best JRPG from the Generation 7 consoles, and that's Lost Odyssey. This is just an amazing experience, very emotional, very tense, and it gets pretty heartbreaking, but at the same time there's a lot of humor in it too. Fun characters, and even though it plays on the cliches, like taking every cliche out there, especially with the amnesia type of cliche, still it's an amazing experience. One of the best turn-based RPGs out there. It needs to be on every platform for everyone to play, not just being stuck on the 360 or being backwards compatible to Xbox consoles, right? It needs a remaster. It needs to be on every platform because it deserves it. It's amazing, and I still hold out hope for that sequel one day, but probably not, right? But if we get at least a remaster, maybe that will lead into a sequel if people bought the remaster, right? And the final game we have here from Mistwalker, The Last Story. This was the first game I beat this year in 2025, and an amazing experience, but far from a perfect one. And not only does it need to be on modern platforms for everyone to play, but being on modern platforms also means that if you do a good remaster of this, or even a slight remake, man, you can fix a lot of the problems, because on the Wii, it is pretty rough to play. I love playing Sale and his story and the whole gang. There's so many great characters, a lot of great music, but it's pretty rough to look at. You have that kind of brownish, yellowish tint, right? And for the Wii, it doesn't look great. So I would love a bit of a rework. Same with the combat, because the combat is a bit strange where you're running up to enemies and you auto attack, and there are times where I got stuck in certain corners where I couldn't get free the way I want to, right? Because there wasn't like jumping or anything like that. So I think if you rework some of the controls, remaster some of the graphics, man, this would be a great modern release to turn a great game into an amazing one. And The Last Story, yeah, let's get a modern release of this game. And so those are 7 JRPGs on the Generation 7 consoles that I would love to see get a modern release. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which JRPGs would you love to see have a modern release? Even ones that I kind of mentioned that I left out, or ones like, say, Star Ocean: The Last Hope that you would love to see get more releases on other consoles or just a physical release, right? Let me know everything about that in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks everyone, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more. And if you enjoyed this talk of 7 JRPGs from Generation 7 consoles that I would love to see a modern port of, be sure to click here to check out 10 JRPGs that needs remakes, along with here of 10 modern JRPGs that are shamefully on my backlog. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!